Hey there guys, Robert here, and today, me and 10 other people are going to be ranking an album from arguably one of the most consistently great electronic artists of his generation, which sees him combining house and luscious organic folk elements to immaculate effect, which excellently contributed to the making of such a beautiful and textured listening experience to the world of folktronica music. Welcome to episode 15 of Robert's Recharged Megacollabs, where we're going to be ranking Fortet's fifth album from 2010, There Is Lovin' You. Alright, so for this episode, we're going to be ranking the standard version that contains 9 tracks, so any of the remixes that appeared on the expanded edition will be omitted. Now then, on with the ranking! Kicking things off with the bottom pick at number 9, we have Pablo's Heart. Do I even need to elaborate on this one? It's just 12 seconds of a heart beating and that's it. It sounds interesting, but it's only acting as a very small interlude that doesn't require much in the way of repeat listens or discussion whatsoever. Moving on. Next at number 8, we have Reversing. This is the worst full track on the album personally, but this is just as nice as everything else, so that ain't saying much. The pads here sound very alluring, while the shakers and reverse cymbals being thrown in here add in a bit more depth to its seemingly minuscule composition. In the grander scheme of this album, it's not anything much to write home about, but outside of that, this is pretty solid. The first song tied for the number 6 spot is This Unfolds. And already, this is where we get into the tracks that I think are at least great. I love how it starts at a more slower and relaxed tempo, but then switches up nearly halfway through to make it sound a bit faster. On top of that, it's got lovely guitar and bass work, elegant sounding synths, especially near the 90-second mark where the spacey lead comes in, and the percussion is very well integrated here too. This may run just a touch too long for its own good for me, but it's still one that I wouldn't mind listening to again. The second song tied for the number 6 spot is Plastic People. A shame this wound up being a bit early on the ranking, because I think this track is fantastic. The pads opening up the whole thing are among the most pristine that Kieran Hebden has ever implemented in any track of his, as they sound so damn inviting right from the get-go. The shakers are great, the delicate synths overscoring the mix sound as beautiful as all can be, that twinkly little melody is also really nice, and the stunning vocals also fit well with this track's atmosphere like a glove. Awesome stuff. Next at number 5, we have Circling. Not one that I have higher than most people in this video, but also one that I can admit is a nice change of pace for this album. I really do appreciate the fact that this track is in a more 6 on the floor rhythm instead of your usual 4 on the floor rhythm, and the sound of this is also great in general. The ukulele being paired with this lead makes for an exciting combo, the 80s sounding synths sound really cool, the vocals are great once again, and who can forget about those glockenspiels in the second half as well. My only complaint with it is the kick drum being underpowered in the mix, but this is yet another highlight in the track listing regardless. The first song tied for the number 3 spot is Sing. Man, what a bop this track is. Those video game-esque synth flips are so damn groovy it's not even funny. And man, the percussion is just as punchy as ever. I also love that delicate reversed sounding melody, the breathy vocals, and those electric pianos that also bring so much life to this track. Don't know what else to say. This is excellent despite this being only in the center of my own ranking. The second song tied for the number 3 spot is the closing track, She Just Likes to Fight. And yeah, this one is honestly a closer I would want an album as lush as this to have. And it's also another one of his best in my opinion too, as everything pouring into this track really does make for easily the most emotional moment on the entire album. From the production that sounds a bit DIY to me for some reason to the electric guitars and synths that permeate throughout, it's just unbelievably stunning from start to finish and shows Kieran's incredible ability to have the listener sold on its instrumental qualities the moment the play button is pressed. Next at number 2, we have the opening track, Angel Echoes. As is with many other great album openers, I can say this one also does a well enough job of being tasked as one. When it comes to setting the tone for the rest of There Is Lovin' You, this track passes with flying colors. Like always, it has wonderful usage of organic percussion, and those synths and vibraphone melodies are so luscious as hell, but the main highlight for me is that very memorable vocal sample, which adds a very nice singable quality to it despite being an instrumental track at heart. Nothing much to add other than this track is yet another highlight on the album once again. And finally, at number 1, we have Love Cry. Yeah, I knew this would be number 1 even before I started making this video, so it's very well deserved. For being the longest track at 9 minutes, it sure doesn't overstay its welcome, as there's always something about it that has me hypnotized and or pulled into it. The danceable production, the twisted sounding sample that somehow feels in place with the tone of this album, the titular Love Cry vocal sample, that thumping analog bass line, it's really got every single one of this album's best qualities wrapped into one, and I absolutely adore every single second of it. It's one of Fortet's best produced tracks, and again, I just can't think of a more deserving number 1 than this. Okay, now let's move on to the average rating, and it's an 8.5 out of 10. As per usual, everyone's thoughts on this album, including mine, will be in the description. Thank you for watching episode 15 of Robert's Recharged Megacollabs. Be sure to be on the lookout for episode 16, where we're going to be ranking BT's This Binary Universe. The form for that will be linked in the description and pinned comment for those interested in participating. The form will be closed 2 weeks from today on April 11th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like, share if you want, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss videos like this one. You can also follow me on Blue Sky and Instagram, or go listen to my original music on Bandcamp. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.